G'day mates, what is going on? This is PokeFuel here. Really excited to bring you this video. We're going to be diving in and talking about 10 different ways that you can make money with Pokemon. Now the reason that I'm so excited about this is because now has never been a better time to combine your nostalgia with a business and something that can make a living or provide a living for you and your family. So we're going to dive in, get your brain going with some of these ideas, and without further ado, let's just jump right into it because there's no more time to waste here, right? So here we go. This is a presentation that I put together. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed this, kind of spent the extra time to kind of put it together because I felt like it would help you kind of process a lot of these things. But let's get right into the first one right here. So flipping cards, raw or graded. So this refers to taking a graded card that you purchase on eBay, Facebook group, Instagram, anywhere online or in person, or a raw card that you purchase and buying that at a cheaper price and then reselling it for a higher price. So let's just have a look at what some of those examples might be. Here in front of me, I have a beautiful Mew PSA 10. It's one of my favorite cards that I have graded. So you could be purchasing, let's say, this Mew card you purchased for, say, $300, which is what I purchased it for. This card now goes for, I think the last sale was $500 for this card. So I could potentially list this for a little bit higher, but, being able to identify what cards to buy, that's a whole different video topic. But the concept is that you buy raw and graded cards cheaper and you sell them higher. So this is another one, for example. This is a Charizard Reverse Holo. A beautiful looking card as well that is ready to be graded. We'll touch on that in just a moment here at one of our points. But as you can see, those are the two different types of cards that you can flip. It's really simple basically. I'm just going to jump to the next slide here. I have a couple of points that I want to touch on. But really, the majority of the time, the best cards to flip are going to be the WotC era cards. So when you, whoops, let me switch back to my presentation here. So the majority of the time, the WotC era cards are the best to flip. The reason being is because they have the most, not necessarily the most value, generally they do, but also the limited quantity amount of cards, right? They're the older cards, they're not modern. We don't want to get too involved with modern when it comes to flipping because it can be very versatile. Other things to remember, you want to be detailed about getting pictures and video before buying. So really, these things to remember for each bullet point that I have going through this presentation is to help kind of guide you and help your thought process as it relates to flipping cards, as it relates to this one here. So the condition is everything. So when you're looking at, for example, raw cards, let's just jump back over here. You're looking at a raw card, you want to make sure that the condition on these cards is really good. So if I zoom up here really close, you can see that this card is in really good condition. Now, if this had a bunch of whitening, had some terrible edges, it had a crease in it, then obviously the value of this card is so much less than what it would be if it was in like a near mint condition. So when you're purchasing cards, you need to remember that the condition really does matter, and this is more specifically for raw than graded because graded have already been given a condition, right? So that's very important when you're buying raw. For example, vintage binders are really good to pick up. People who are finding their vintage binders and wanting to sell them. A lot of potential there with being able to, buy a large lot of these cards and then resell them for a higher price individually and take the time to do that. It will take time to find deals, but be patient. So there's lots of people that are doing this right now, but there are a lot of deals out there, a lot of cards out there, people who need money that are willing to sell at a cheaper price. You just need to spend the time to do it. The other thing is make sure the shipping is safe and you can trust the seller. So when it comes to actually doing the deal, you want to make sure that the person who's shipping you the cards has some reputation, that the shipping is safe, that our cards don't get damaged in the mail, which sometimes they're notorious for. That USPS and other shipping companies, they don't really take a whole lot of care of your cards when they ship them. So you want to make sure they're shipped safely. Boxes are going to be thrown around. Just kind of expect that. And then reputation of the seller. So, for example, using eBay or Amazon, other platforms where they have some reputation can be very valuable for you as well. So the other thing you want to do is create a spreadsheet. So this is something that I do. I've done quite a lot when I'm looking at either vintage lots, is create a spreadsheet in the value of the cards and be conservative with the price. Don't look at your raw cards like this and don't say, oh yeah, this is, all of the 100 cards that I'm going to buy from this person. you know, they're all PSA 10. You know, you can't expect that all the cards you get are going to be PSA 10, okay? That's going to be not very conservative. So when we're doing this, we want to make sure that we are conservative with our prices. And the other thing to factor in when you're creating this spreadsheet and kind of writing a list of all the cards that you're going to get in this deal, you don't want to forget the shipping and fees when you're calculating profit. So when you're looking for a deal to flip, you want to make sure that you're actually calculating everything that goes into the deal and it's actually going to be worth your time, right? So that's a really, really important thing. So I basically have a difficulty and a risk level for each item here in this presentation. I feel like the difficulty for this is like an 8 out of 10, and the risk level is a 7 out of 10. I have a little asterisk there that modern cards are more risky. So as I mentioned, when you get into modern, prices can flip and change so quickly. For example, the Charizard VMAX and the Shiny Charizard V out of Champion's Path has taken a plummet in price. It was almost halved in price in the last month and a half. So if you're looking to buy up a bunch of cards, you want to make sure that you flip them quickly, right? If they're modern, it just makes it a lot more risky. You could almost lose half your money if you, say, invested a few thousand into these Charizard VMAXs and Charizard V cards. They could be then worth half as much as what they were originally. So just keep that in mind. You really need to be careful there. Vintage cards seem to hold more of their value. Stay away from common and uncommons. You want to go after like the holos and the first edition cards. Those are generally what you want to be looking for, and obviously sealed product as well. So the difficulty with being able to find deals can be very, very hard because there are people sitting on eBay watching for deals. They're trying to get those cheap deals, those buy it now deals. You know, there's people on Facebook searching all over trying to find deals. So it can be difficult, but once you do find something, I have found that there's a lot of potential for a lot of profit in these deals, based on my experience. Now the risk level, you know, 7 out of 10. Now again, you know, when it comes to flipping, you've really got to be able to move this stuff quickly, because at the end of the day, if you, you know, if you're flipping cards, you need to understand the market can shift and change, right? We've seen a huge shift in the market just in the last 2 months or 3 months, and it's been exponentially growing in 2020, but then kind of towards the end of 2020, it kind of took a bit of a dip. And, you know, we're seeing kind of some sort of flattening out with the market, but we really don't know what's going to happen. So when it comes to like flipping specifically, you're buying a raw card or a graded card and then flipping it, it can be a little difficult to know whether it will go up or down. Okay. So that is the first thing we're going to talk about here. We're going to try and move along a bit quicker because I know we've already talked for a little bit of time now. We have 10 things to get through. So some of this stuff will be part of some of these other 10 money-making methods. So buying raw and selling graded. So this relates a lot to flipping. So, you know, again, we kind of got some of the main points here or similar points from the previous one, but basically turning something like this, a graded card, into, I'll see if I got another card here to show you guys, got a couple. Taking a card here like this. Oh, I flicked the screen. Wrong screen there, sorry guys, I'm still getting used to this. We have a Charizard V that's ready to send for grading, and we have a graded card here on the right. Now, what you want to be doing is purchasing raw cards and then turning them into graded cards. The process is you're finding raw cards that are in good condition, preferably near mint condition, right? Cards that have a really nice, you know, no whitening, it's got a good surface, particularly if the seller says, you know, that it's put straight into a sleeve. They're generally the best ones to go for. You can, you know, be pretty confident that they'll be in really good condition. And then you'll send them into PSA or Beckett, which are the main companies for grading. I mean, you also got CGC, which I know, you know, people have different opinions about. And you'll receive a graded card back. Now, this is a graded Dark Dragonite First Edition. And this card will then have basically a standardized condition based on what PSA says, right? So when you take a raw card like a Charizard V, for example, and this is going for market value right now between $250 and $300 for a raw card, and you go and get this graded and it comes back a PSA 9 or a PSA 10, you're looking at a $400 to $700 graded card. So when you consider the fees for the PSA delivery time, or the fees for getting these actually graded, And then also the time it takes is also need to be a factor too, because you're going to have a lot of money tied up if you're sending a bunch of raw cards to get graded. But I feel that the return for this process is massive. I have a huge submission that I'm putting together here, and it's probably worth raw like $3,000 to $4,000. But when I submit it to get graded, it should come back with around a $10,000 to $12,000 profit. Now it's going to take 5 to 6 months to get them submitted and returned. But with that said, you can see how much money can be made with having a raw cards and then getting them graded. So let's have a look here on the presentation to see if there's anything that we missed here. I'm not going to reiterate some things. You guys can pause the video here if you want to read some of this stuff. But I more have it as a guide for both of us to kind of go through this. So, one caution I want to let you guys know is don't take out a loan to buy vintage binders. Don't take out a loan to buy some of this stuff. It's just not worth it. You want to be using your disposable income, something that you're safe doing. Now, I know that you're going to have a lot of pressure on yourself and other people around you to buy stuff that's outside of your comfort zone. Just don't, guys. It's not worth it. Don't put on your credit card. It's just not worth it. Buy stuff that's within your means and just build from there and reinvest the profits. That's the best way to do it. So if you don't have a lot of money, this probably isn't the best way to do things, because your money is going to be sitting for a while in the time that it's going to take to grade the cards. But it is a great way to get a big return on investment. So you want to make sure that the shipping is safe. You can trust the seller just like the previous one. And again, create a spreadsheet and value out all the cards. All right, be conservative. And then also calculate the grading costs when you're doing the profit, as well as the capital that you're going to need to invest and do this, all right? So really, really simple, just pretty much like the other one in terms of things to remember. Difficulty is a 4 out of 10. I don't feel like this is very difficult to do because there's so many people selling raw cards. They don't have the time to wait those, anywhere between, even a month if you're going to express grade it, to up to 5 to 6 months to get it graded long term. And people just want to sell off their stuff and get their money. So it's not difficult to find these raw cards to get graded. And the risk level, I believe it's a lower risk level. It's a 6 out of 10 because when you're buying these raw cards, especially if you're buying cards that are highly sought after, I definitely recommend staying away from grading cards that don't have a lot of market resonance. What I mean is that you can check the population reports for different cards. And if these cards don't have a high population or even no population, you shouldn't grade the card. If you have a look on eBay sold listings and see that this card hasn't really sold in the last month, or there's no sales at all, then stay away from it, okay? Grade cards that are hot cards that people want to buy, because you don't want to grade cards that people don't want, right? So keep that in mind as well. So, again, this is a great money-making method. I think this is a good long-term strategy. Plus, you get to also enjoy a lot of these cards and see the, taking them from raw to graded. It's a cool experience when you get a package in the mail and you get to see graded cards. So let's move on to number 3, opening packs early and fast BGS and PSA submissions. Now, this one's a really interesting one. Now, if you notice that there are a lot of people in the industry, what they'll do is, especially on the retail level, is they'll get in inventory, they'll open up a ton of product where they'll be able to sell singles to people who are trying to build decks for the competitive scene, and they'll also be trying to get good cards they can send off for express grading. And this is a very, very risky thing to do, but I can tell you this, that it is a very profitable thing that these people are doing. Now, again, I want to emphasize this is extremely risky, but it is a way that you could potentially make some money if you're able to get your hands on product a lot earlier. But you would, let me give you an example. So back when Champion's Path came out, I remember the value of the raw Charizard V and also the Charizard V Max, which I also have over here, and I will switch my screens in just a moment. These cards, raw, were going for maybe, I think, $500 to $750 each. I think, it was like $600 to $800 each, all right? These two cards, when Champion's Path first came out. They stayed that way for a while, before they really dropped in price. Then slowly they came down to $500 and $400, and now they're down to $250 to $300 each. Now, these raw cards, you could also sell them raw, right? So you can pull cards early and sell them right off the bat. My wife and I actually pulled, we got really lucky. We had opened 100 Champions Path packs. We pulled 2 Charizard VMAX Rainbows and 1 Charizard V out of 100 packs. Extremely lucky. And I sold those off for $600 a piece. I'll probably throw those eBay listings up here on the screen for you guys to see when I'm editing. Hopefully I get a chance to do that. But I sold these. I sold a lot of them for like $550, $600, $650, I think is right around the price where I sold them. So, you know, that's selling raw. Now, what you can also do is express grade, which costs, you know, a couple $100. But if you express grade these cards, what you can do is get them back really early. It'll cost like $100, $200 for express grading, and you can be one of the first people in the market to sell these graded cards. Now, I remember when the Charizard VMAX from Champion's Path came out, the Rainbow one, it was going for $2,000 to $3,000 in a BGS 10 or a PSA 10. So, you know, the amount of money that these cards go for, at least, you know, one of the first population cards, they go for a lot of money. So there's potential for you to make a little bit there. And it's not the most, you know, it's not the most robust way to make money, but it is a way that you can do that. So you want to be ready to burn through a lot of packs and money initially. You want to have a middleman grader already set up to ready to submit. So someone that you can send to, for example, like DFW Pokemon or Graded Gem, for example. Those are middleman type services where you can get them a bit faster and a bit cheaper through those middleman services because they have subscriptions to these grading companies. It's better to have a reputation beforehand, so you know more people will trust you when they can buy from you. So for example, you want to have an eBay profile already set up with feedback so that when you do list this stuff that people trust that it's actually legitimate, and you will get a higher price for that unless instead of posting something where you have zero feedback, right? And the quicker and early you get the product, the better. Every day matters. So it really does come down to a time crunch at the end of the day. You really got to get your cards out and getting graded quickly because, you know, again, it's extremely risky, and I will say that again. The difficulty is 2 out of 10. It's not that hard to get packs and open them and then just send them off for grading, other than getting the initial inventory. So it's not as difficult, but it's extremely risky. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions about that so far. And if you are enjoying the video so far, please, I really appreciate it if you could leave a like on this video. It goes a long way, helps this video and content get out to more people so we can provide them with this value as well. So a Pokemon YouTube channel. Now you probably heard this before, but I'm going to kind of touch on this a little bit. But Pokemon YouTube channel is extremely good long-term strategy. The reason why is because what you can do is you can build up multiple streams of income and provide entertaining content to your audience. So, you know, for me, like the reason why I've been on YouTube and doing YouTube for like 5 years now. I have multiple channels that I've started and I'm working on, and that, you know, I've kind of gone through this evolution of like trying to figure out what I really want to do and what I want to focus on. And this is something that I really enjoy now, and I foresee that in the foreseeable future. But the reason why is because it builds you a base. It helps you to build up your reputation. It helps you to build up a following. And, you know, I have had some of the most, I guess, valuable experiences for me being able to be involved with the community and some of my followers and some of you guys. And I really appreciate that. You know, those are some times that I look back on 2020 being such a, you know, I'd say a negative year, and I can say, wow, like this was a really good year because I had these experiences. We did some live streams together, and it was just kind of fun to do that. So I really enjoy making content. I like teaching, and so, you know, if you're kind of that person who's a bit more outgoing, and you want to kind of, you know, build a future for yourself, YouTube channel and building a brand is very valuable. So it can be difficult to know what you're doing, creating videos, thumbnails, video ideas, for example. You know, if you have any questions relating to that, leave them below in the comments. I'm more than happy to get back to you on that. But, you know, it is a learning process, and there are a lot of things that you kind of have to do in order to, you know, be successful on YouTube. A lot of it really just takes a lot of practice, and you have to really be willing to invest time into this to make it something great, and you really have to do it without seeing a return. So like, you have to do this because you believe it's something you enjoy, or not even that you believe it's something you enjoy, it's something you know you enjoy, and that you can see through to the end, right? And you can see yourself doing that long term. Because at the end of the day, like, you don't make money from YouTube for a long time, you know, and you have to be spending the hours and hours of making content and helping, you know, provide value to your audience, because those are the people that matter. You guys matter the most to me, and I want to make good content for you. And you should never expect a return because you don't know what's going to happen. Now, your results will have a delayed effect of your effort today. Now, I love this because you put in effort towards your channel. You make videos, you know, every single week, every single month, And over the long term, you'll start to see the fruits of the effort you've put in, the hours you've put into making content. So that's a really important thing to remember when you're making content on YouTube, is that it really is a delayed effect. And it's important to understand that, because going into it, you can't expect to get results right away out of the gate. You've got to take your time. You've got to really perfect things every single video, always trying to think or try and see how you can do better each time. And that's really how YouTube works, you know. The next thing is work on improving a little bit every day. Don't expect perfection from the beginning. Again, like just reiterating, like just try to improve yourself little bit by little bit every single day. And that's all that matters, all right? And make sure you take action. You know, make sure you implement the things that you're learning. And that's all that matters. Now, the difficulty for this, I'd say, is an 8 out of 10. It's definitely a grind to kind of create content. You can spend a lot of time doing this and not really seeing a return or a result. But at the end of the day, the risk level involved in starting a YouTube channel is 1 out of 10. Like, what have you got to lose? You know, what have you got to lose to go after your passion and do something that you enjoy and, you know, build something that is more long-term and sustainable for you and can help provide for your family and allow you to get more involved in Pokemon, right? Because, like, at the end of the day, like, the reason that I got back into Pokemon was because I loved it so much as a kid. Like, I think back to, you know, my childhood in Australia and, you know, going to the store and buying, you know, jungle packs from a little cigarette shop that we had just by our school. Like, I remember going into those places and buying, you know, buying those jungle packs, you know. And that's very nostalgic for me. And if I can combine that and make that into a long-term thing, then great. That's what I'm striving for. I hope that this can be something that I can do more often, you know, but you've kind of got to balance that with your job as well. If you guys are working, you know, you've got to make the sacrifices to spend more time on doing this stuff, you know. So, yeah, YouTube channel, great long-term strategy. Risk level is low, but it can be very difficult to persist through it. So, that is number 4 there. Now, number 5, hosting box breaks and live pack openings. So this is exciting because I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of this around here, and this is something that I actually do. Box breaks and live pack openings is essentially when someone, you know, let's say we're doing a live stream here, and let's say we've, you know, let's say, let me see, I've actually got I think I've got a pack over here actually. You know, let's say we're opening some, you know, some Champions Pass. So, you know, someone might come on the stream, then be like, you know, I want to buy some packs. You know, maybe they have the chance at pulling a Charizard out of here, and you know, they send over some money and get some packs, and then you, as the host, you'll open these packs. So you'll open this pack for them, right? And you know, you'll pull it out and you'll say, all right, good luck, whoever it is. You'll do the card trick here. Well, I like to do the card trick. So there's 4 cards. We'll turn it around right here. We'll bring them up to the camera, and we'll go through these cards. So let's see. All right, let's just do this right now. And you're providing this experience for people, right? You're providing this experience where everyone can be live on a chat and enjoy opening cards together. All right, so let's see if we get anything. We got a sizzle bead. Oh my gosh, we got a rainbow right in the video. Oh my gosh, look at that. So there we go, live reaction. See, it's so much fun. I don't even have any sleeves up here with me. Actually, yes, I do. So, you know, as you can see, it's you know, doing live pack breaks is so fun, because look, we just pulled a Gardevoir V Max. That is so exciting. What are the chances? Random pack of Champions Path. And you can see that, you know, if you get to interact with the chat, and I've had some of my best experiences doing these live breaks, and it's been so much fun. You guys can do it too. It's really not that difficult, and we're going to kind of be talking a little bit more about that in other videos. But this is a really fun thing that you can do, and it's a great way to make some income as well. And I'm going to be talking more about this in a bit more detail in other videos. But the biggest part of making this success is having hot inventory. So, for example, when people come on your stream, a live stream, for example, or they're signing up for a box break, you want to have inventory that people actually want. Let me switch back to the presentation. My bad. And, you know, you want to make sure that you have product that people want to buy, right? So if you have a bunch of, you know, Steam Siege and Rebel Clash, you're probably not going to get that many people buying product. But if you have stuff like Hidden Fates, you know, Shining Legends, you have some, you know, Champions Path, you have some, you know, Vivid Voltage, for example, So those are sets that are really hot right now, at least, you know, the beginning of 2021, that people really want to open. So, you know, whenever a new set comes out, you want to stay on top of that. You want to make sure you can get product. And really, like, the biggest thing here is that you need some capital to start, right? You need a little bit of money to have inventory so you can break those packs at the beginning. So you want to start small and then reinvest the profits. So again, like, don't break the bank trying to do these pack breaks, okay? And you can go and do this really, really easily in Facebook groups, right? This is something that I do a lot. And, you know, like I said, we'll be talking more about in detail later. But, like, basically, you'll go to a Facebook group and you'll be able to go live in there. You'll be able to open packs for people. And it's really, really simple. But, you know, the technical side to setting up and running a stream or a box break can be a little bit tough without some help. Now you can just simply set up your phone and just go live on that. You can set up, you know, OBS Studios or OBS Streamlabs to go live. And, you know, it can be a little bit hard, the technical side, but once you figure out, like, what to do, it's really, really simple. And really what you're there to do is, you know, build up some reputation and kind of enjoy your time and build relationships with the people that come on the stream, provide entertainment. It's really about entertainment, and it's really about, you know, showing that you care about people and being able to share the experiences together. Because one thing for me that I love about this is that I get to experience opening really good cards and hitting really good cards with other people live. Like, it's such a great experience. It's almost like the same feeling as being in the room with a lot of the people in the same room, and then we all get excited about when we get a good pull. It's just really, really fun. So, you know, it's something that I felt is a really good balance between, you know, being able to, you know, work towards having that be a supplemental income for myself and my family, and also just having fun and just enjoying my time. Like, some of the best highlights I had from 2020 was doing these live streams. So it can be the same thing for you too. Now, product can be difficult to get your hands on. Obviously, we know that. It's a very difficult time. And it can be a little bit difficult for introverts, but most live pack openings, people don't use a face cam. So I like to use face cam for my live openings. I like to be more personable, but you don't need it. Majority of people, 95% of people don't have face cams, and you can just simply show your hands, you know, as long as you have some lighting around, and it's not too difficult, right? So that's why I put the difficulty at a 5 out of 10, because it's a little bit of a learning curve. The technical side, you know, being able to get inventory is a little bit difficult, but the risk level is a 3 out of 10, because at the end of the day, if everything goes bad, it doesn't work out, and you can't sell any product, you can just sell the inventory you purchased, right? You have that inventory that's worth something, and you're not going to just lose all your money, right? Now, you may have to take a little bit of a loss on it, but it won't be anything crazy. And yeah, so that is the box breaks. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, guys, so hopefully you've enjoyed the video so far. I really, really appreciate all of you here. If you have liked the video so far, make sure you go ahead and leave it a big like. I really, really appreciate it. And subscribe if you're enjoying this content, if it's valuable to you. I really appreciate you being here. It means a lot to me. What we're going to be doing is having a part 2 of this series. We're going to go over tips 6 through 10 because this video is just too long. So make sure you hit that big red subscribe button to be notified and let you guys know when that next episode drops. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm really excited to share these next tips with you. But guys, again, make sure you leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of these methods, if you have any questions about these things, and we'll see you in the next video.